Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is Friday, May the 29th. It is the last day of the trading month. Overall markets continue to push towards the upside. We talked about yesterday the 731. That was the key level on the Qs. So once we were able to reclaim that, we did have a little bit of news as well, which helped us push the markets back up and towards our all-time highs. Couple nice names pushing back towards the upside. AMD, of course, leading the markets higher. We have a couple other semis. And in the after hours, we had Dell earnings, which is up really nicely. Dell was already up like 50% within the past couple of weeks, or sorry, within the past like almost a week. It was already up 30-40%, and now in the after hours we're already at 400. We'll kind of talk about that and some other potential names that can be impacted with Dell for a potential move for continuation towards the upside. Before we head on to the charts, what's up everyone? Good morning. Good morning, Kelvin. India, what's up, Victor? B Roots, good morning, Maria, Andy, Vate, good morning, Lamit, Knight, Cosmic, what's up, Monty, Martin, Nick, what's up, Francisco, good morning, Robert, Senna, Gerald, good morning, Chris, Gusta, J Tan, what's up, Ashley, Julius, TD. Yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Let's pull up the economic calendar. We don't have too much today, so there's not really a point of pulling up the economic calendar, but we'll do this anyways. Let me actually just reset my keyboard here. 1 second. Okay. So coming into today, as you can see, no red folder news events. We do have some on Sunday, later into the day, and then next week we have a couple things to keep an eye out for. But really, no red folder news events. And then of course the earnings calendar. We'll pull this up really quickly as well. We had a couple big earnings. We had Marvel on Wednesday. Yesterday, of course, we had Dell and a couple other ones. Costco. We had OKTA. That one ended up moving nicely in the after hours. So as I mentioned, we had a couple of things to keep an eye out for. Yesterday, Dell was primarily the one that pushed towards the upside. Now let's hop onto some of the charts. Coming into market open here, starting off with the QQQ. So yesterday we talked about the weekly's bullish, the daily's bullish. The key levels that we have marked out on the QQQ happen to be our previous all-time highs area, which was that 720. You can see this a little bit more clear here on the futures, which happens to be our 29,800. So our previous retest level, you can see buyers stepped in, and then yesterday buyers stepped in, and now we're just continuing back up in towards our all-time highs here. Of course, if we maintained above this, we're going to maintain a bullish bias, right? The structure is going to be valid on the 1 hour time frame. As you can see, if we broke underneath it, then that was a sign for a potential reversal in the markets. Same thing with the Qs, right? Key levels we just had marked out happen to be our 720. As long as you can maintain above that, we're going to maintain a bullish bias here in the markets. At least for the levels coming to market open, we have our previous day lows, we have our 730, and now the levels that we can have marked out as well is going to be that previous day highs along with our all-time highs. If we do want to see continuation coming to market open, now we'd like to see it above our previous day highs for a potential room up and towards our 740 and above. If we reject off this level and we end up consolidating a little bit, the reclaim back above our 736 is still going to be key for continuation higher. And then, of course, we could even pull back all the way towards that 730 and still be bullish on the QQQ. That would be our higher low here, and we'd still be above our previous day highs. This would be our Tuesday's highs, and you can see we have multiple touches, and of course we'd be building up a higher low on the higher time frame. So for the overall markets, preferably we like to see the longs above our previous day highs along with our previous all-time highs for continuation. But if it did pull back down in towards that 730, we could be looking for a bounce play off that level. For the NQ, basically the exact same thesis. As you can see, once we reclaimed yesterday, the next level was our previous all-time highs, and now you can see we have multiple touches. What we like to see coming to market open, break above previous day highs, hold for continuation towards the upside. If we have a little bit of a pullback coming to market open, then we can be waiting for the reclaim back above our previous day highs for continuation higher. And of course, if price came all the way back down in towards our 3100, which happens to be the area that we broke out from yesterday, that is a possible scenario as well for a bounce play back towards the upside. So for the overall markets, we're just going to continue to look for upside here. If we go on to the SPY chart, the key levels that we have marked out yesterday simply was just this previous all-time highs level. That was key, exact same thing like the QQQ. If we can maintain above this, we're going to be looking for upside. If we ultimately broke underneath, then potentially we can see a reversal in the markets. We end up just holding that level, which happens to be that previous day lows. And as you can see, there's multiple touches. You can see buyers basically stepped in every single day off our 749. And once we're able to get back above that 752, you can see nice retests. We did have some news yesterday as well that ended up popping it all the way up and towards our all-time highs. And I can see once we got above our all-time highs, we just like to see this level be used as a retest for continuation. So coming to market open here, we have two levels. We have our previous day highs and we have our 754. I personally would like to see this 754 be used for continuation higher. Another possible scenario is going to be now above our pre-market highs for a push back towards the upside here as well. For the ES, if we're looking at this on the hourly time frame, you can see the key levels that we have marked out was our lows that we created here on Tuesday, multiple touches, another touch here on Wednesday. We had a look below fail. And then once we're able to reclaim back above, next level, of course, was going to be that all-time highs. Now the key levels that we have marked out is going to be that all-time highs, or sorry, that previous all-time highs, whereas you can see we have multiple touches, right? So now what we like to see ES maintain above our 7570 for continuation towards the upside. So for the ES key levels that we have marked out, 7570, maintain above this for continuation back towards the upside is in play. So that's what we have for the ES coming into market open here, along with the SPY and the Qs here as well. Let's go on to the SMH. So as you can see, the semis, ever since we had that sell-off on Wednesday, right, Qs back at all-time highs, SPY back at all-time highs. Semiconductors are ones that are lagging behind primarily because of MU and a few other semis that ended up selling off. But for the SMH, we do have room back up in towards our all-time highs here now. 612, we like to see it maintain above our 600 for a push up in towards our all-time highs here, which happens to be that 612 on the higher time frames. So this is what we have for the SMH. If we look at this on the hourly time frame, we're still very much bullish, kind of building up these higher lows above that 580. Now we're breaking back above key levels. I'd like to see the SMH really just maintain above previous day highs for a potential pushback towards the upside. If you go back onto that 15-minute time frame, key levels that we have marked out, we can just refine some of the levels, but we're going to have our all-time highs, which is our 612.24. And then we can also refine this to our previous day highs here, which happens to be our 604. So coming into today here on the SMH, I like to see maintain above our 604 for a push up in towards our all-time highs, 612. As for the IWM, this one slowly pushing back towards the upside here as well. We are at all-time highs. We're now trying to use this as a retest level. So for the IWM, nice break and retest off that 270. Now we like to see the break and retest off our 287.50. Key levels that we have marked out is basically going to be this exact level here on the higher time frame. So it's at 287.50. If you go back onto the lower time frames, Other levels that we can have marked out here now as well is just going to be that previous day highs, which happens to coincide with our all-time highs. If we do want to see continuation higher above now our previous day highs for this continued push towards the upside. All right, with that being said, let's go on to some tech names that we have here now. So if you guys do have any charts or any tickers that you'd like me to go over, you guys can drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. All right, let's first talk about Tesla. Let's go into the daily time frame on this one. So Tesla and Nvidia more so on the weekly and daily time frame. Key levels that we have marked out. Key levels that we have marked out here on Tesla is still going to be that 450 here on the higher time frame. So far as you can see on the lower time frames, we're building up higher lows here on the daily. Key levels that we have marked out is going to be that 445 and of course that 432. So yesterday we technically do have an inside bar day. I want to see some sort of potential kind of bounce play here, offer 435 for continuation back towards the upside. You can see we end up having this bounce in the pre-market, and then we gravitated up and towards that 445, a little bit of reaction, and now we're back inside the middle of this range that we have marked out. If we want to see continuation higher, Tesla above our previous day highs, above our 445 here as well for continuation towards the upside. Another possible scenario, the bounce play here off our 434 for continuation higher here as well. So these are the two scenarios for Tesla. What I would like to see in kind of the coming days and potentially next week setting up with, of course, the SpaceX IPO coming up here as well. We're going to form, I'd like to see some sort of like cup and handle, right? I'd like to see higher lows be built above our 432 continuation or some sort of like flag pattern that we can look for a potential break above our 445 for continuation higher here as well. At least for today, I'd be a little bit more cautious until we can break above that 445. As for Nvidia, in a really key spot on the higher time frame. So I talked about this more so a break and retest on the weekly. If you're interested in Nvidia, right, compared to the rest of the semiconductors, keep an eye out on this previous all-time highs retest. So this is going to take a little bit longer to develop, but it looks pretty solid on Nvidia, right? We had that break and retest off our 195, another break and retest now off our previous all-time highs. Let's see if any buyers can step in right off that previous all-time highs level, which happens to be that 208 along with our 210. If you go on to the daily chart, we're kind of right in key technical levels here as well. We're right around that 21 plus that previous all-time highs. We like to see Nvidia really now break back above our previous day highs for continuation back towards the upside. Key levels that we have marked out. Number one, we can kind of just refine a couple levels. We have our previous day high, so we had that 212 yesterday. We also kind of had this downtrend break as well. So for Nvidia, we had this kind of forming. We broke back above that 212. We're kind of retesting this. So now let's see if we can get a little bit of momentum back towards the upside. Other key levels that we have marked out as well is this 218. So we have two scenarios. The bounce off that 212, or now we like to see it really above this 218 for continuation higher. Above our previous day highs, we can see a push back towards the upside here as well. But for Nvidia, we're still technically in a downtrend here on the hourly time frame. So the break of structure is going to be back above this 218. Right now, we're in the beginning stages. It could very much still reject and continue back towards the downside. So for Nvidia, we're still bearish on the hourly time frame. Of course, we're bullish on the weekly and the daily, but we want to see a flip on the hourly time frame now. So for Nvidia, at a minimum today, break above our previous day highs, potential push up in towards this 218. If we do reject, then we're going to see a push right back down towards that 212. AMD, on the other hand, this one is continuing to push towards the upside. We're at all-time highs. Every single time frame is bullish on AMD. We end up getting back above our 504, which was key yesterday. Key levels today, previous day highs. And then, of course, we have our 504, which happens to be our breakout level and the area that we have multiple touches. If we do want to see some upside today, we have two scenarios above our previous day highs, continuation towards the upside. We could also see a potential kind of look below fail and reclaim setup back above that 516 for a pushback towards the upside. Or if price came all the way back down in towards that 504, you could be looking for a higher low here off that 504 for continuation back towards the upside. So for AMD, let's keep an eye out on that previous day highs. Regardless, AMD is just bullish on the higher time frames. Every single dip so far has been bought up. As for Apple, this one's just been consolidating as of recent. Really not too much to talk about on this one. Key levels that I have marked out is our Tuesday's highs. Other levels that we can have marked out is our previous day highs along with our 313. If you do want to see Apple continuation, kind of this flat top is forming. A lot of times Apple does like to kind of fake out. So it very much well could come up, reject, and then eventually set back up later into the week. But for Apple, key levels today is going to be that previous day highs, potential breakout scenario above your 313. Google consolidating a little bit more until it breaks outside this range, be a little bit more cautious. Microsoft finally showing some strength. So Microsoft yesterday, along with a couple other names, there was a rotation into a couple of these tickers. Microsoft, some nice buyers stepping in. Now let's keep an eye on this Microsoft break and retest above our 430. This is the key level that I talked about yesterday, or sorry, coming into this week. It's at 432 on the higher time frames. Microsoft's going to be one of my main watches today. As you can see, multiple touches. We like to see that break above 432, continuation towards the upside. If you look at this on the daily chart, Microsoft is setting up fairly nicely, right? You can consider this a daily flag, a potential flat top break here as well. But above our 430, continuation towards the upside. So let's keep an eye out on Microsoft above our 432 here today. Meta, another one that had a nice pop as of recent. We're inside of the daily gap. So for Meta, there's a couple scenarios for continuation here. We have, of course, this range that we have marked out. We can do one of two things. We can pull back down in towards our 620, continuation towards the upside, or now back above our previous day highs, continuation towards that full gap fill. Regardless, we're going to be looking for Meta continuation back higher, but either it's going to be the retest or the break above our previous day highs. As for Amazon, this one looks pretty solid. We did have some news, or if I'm not mistaken, in the pre-market, which basically dropped this towards the downside. But Microsoft looks good. Sorry, Amazon looks good on the daily time frame. Right, we kind of have this weekly time frame break and retest. Daily time frame shaping up nicely here as well. End up having a couple nice strong candle closes the past two sessions. Now currently we are dropping in the pre-market. We're essentially retesting our 270. So now this is our key level. As long as you can maintain above that 270, continuation back towards the upside. Netflix, not really doing too much on this one. There's a couple names that are bouncing. So we'll talk about some other names here as well. I see some of you guys typing in the chat. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers, as I mentioned, I'll go over some for the next 5 to 10 minutes. And then I will develop our game plan from there. All right, we should be back. Sorry, the stream cut out for some reason. If you guys do have any issues with, of course, the stream, you guys can refresh YouTube and everything should be good. All right, let's go over a couple tickers. We can talk about Palantir, since Palantir showed some nice strength yesterday, kind of breaking outside of its really range that we had all of May. And we're starting to see some nice buyers step in here on Palantir. So as you can see, we've been ranging for the past month. pretty strong break outside this range yesterday. Now we're going to be looking for, of course, continuation towards the upside. We have our earnings high here as well. That is going to be our next key level. So for Palantir, we can kind of just refine this a little bit more. 150 is going to be our key level. And then other levels that we can have marked out, which will just be our previous day highs, which happens to be our 145. So coming to market open here today on Palantir, really nice buyer stepping in. We just like to see balance play off our 145 for continuation back towards the upside. So keep this in mind for Palantir. As I mentioned, we have earnings high, which is in play, all the way back up in towards our 150. For MU, this one slowly pushing back towards the upside. Key levels that we have marked out is going to be that 930. We have multiple touches here. We tried reclaiming yesterday. A little bit of a nice move in the pre-market. For MU, key level that we have is our 930. Maintain above that 930. Continuation up in towards that 970 is in play. Reject, then we're going to be a little bit more cautious. Key level 930. SNDK key level that we have marked out, we can mark out this previous day highs. We had a couple semis leading the markets higher. SNDK was a name that ended up moving nicely. A couple memory names that push back. Intel, this one looks solid in my opinion. Ready to kind of break outside this daily wedge pattern that is forming here on the higher time frames. If you bring some of the EMAs that we have marked out, as you can see here for Intel, we're about to break out. All right, we have multiple touches either side on Intel. We have a couple reactions right off the 9, a couple undercuts here. Now we've consolidated enough. For Intel, the break above our previous day highs along with our 125 is going to push this towards the upside. If we reject once again, we can consolidate a little bit more or potentially pull back, but I don't really want to see a pullback here now in Intel. I would like to see really now just a break above our previous day highs hold for continuation towards the upside. If we're looking at this on the hourly time frame, Intel is setting up here now. Key level, as I mentioned, is going to be that previous day highs along with our 125. The break is going to come above our previous day highs, number one, or if we want to wait for confirmation above our 126 for that push back up in towards our all-time highs. So keep this in mind for Intel. As I mentioned, this one is shaping up fairly nicely. At least for today, we'll keep an eye out on the break above our previous day highs for a push towards the upside. So we'll keep that in mind for Intel. One of the main watches coming into today. WDC, nice buyer stepped in off that 524. For TSM, this is one of my favorite tickers here as well. More so of a longer term kind of position / day trade, but TSM, nice higher lows are being built. Now we're break hold above that 420. Let's see if we can get that continued pushback towards the upside. For TSM, key levels now is going to be, of course, that all-time highs here. 430. We can take a look at some of these other names, right? Hood, SoFi, kind of bounce along with Palantir and a lot of these ones. So we were consolidating for the past month on Hood, SoFi, similar thing. Right now, you can see a little bit of buyers stepping in nicely. SoFi is actually up 14% here in the pre-market. I'm not sure if you had, yeah, we definitely had some news here on SoFi, but for Hood, key levels is going to be all the way back up in towards our 92.50. We just like to see it maintain above our previous day highs, which happens to be our 85. So maintain above 85, continuation towards the upside. SoFi had some news. It seems like in the pre-market, we are back up in towards our 20. Which is a key level here on the higher time frames. Plus, we're now above our earnings high. So we just like to see it maintain above our 1850 for continuation higher here as well. As for a few other tickers, let's go on to some other names. Marvel recently had earnings a few days ago. Now we're just going to kind of mark out that earnings high along with that earnings low. Yesterday, we had an inside bar day. Or sorry, not an inside bar day, but just basically in between its earnings high and low. Mark out that previous day high and previous day low. Break above, continuation higher. Break below, rejection, push back down towards your 188. As for DELL, this one had earnings, of course, yesterday, up about 33% here in the Pre-market along with the after hours key levels that we're going to have marked out is going to be that 440. Other level that we can have marked out is going to be that 410. Coming into market open, we can keep an eye on DELL, potential first pullback for a continued push back up in towards our all-time highs. This is our IV flush. IV, of course, is going to be fairly elevated with it being up 33%. So you want to wait for an IV flush, right? Something like the 440 calls or maybe even the 450s, right? You can be looking for that first pullback to go long towards the upside. So keep this in mind for DELL. As long as we maintain above 410, I'm going to maintain, right, the most momentum coming to market open, right? This could happen within the first couple minutes, right? Bounce play here off our 410 for continuation higher. Let's go into a few other tickers here now as well. We'll go over Rocket Labs. Rocket Labs has just been continuing to push towards the upside, right? Every single dip has been bought up. Next level on Rocket Labs is going to be really down and towards our 135. That's kind of our daily higher low. I like to be set off our 135. That would be a nice pullback. You can see a couple pullbacks here, continuation, another pullback down and towards that 135 would be nice. The memory ETF, of course, is holding up very nicely. Key levels, previous day highs, along with their previous all-time highs, 63.50. If we want to see continuation above our previous day highs for a potential push towards upside here as well. As for a few other tickers, right, there's a lot of names that are, after consolidating for a while, starting to finally break out. Names like Oracle, you can see higher lows are being built. We're now breaking above, continuation towards the upside. We also have a daily gap all the way back up and towards that 220. So for Oracle, you can see nice break yesterday, and now we're getting some nice momentum back towards the upside. Key levels on Oracle is going to be our previous day highs, which is a little bit farther away, but that's going to be the key level today. And then other levels that we can have marked out is going to be our pre-market levels, which is our 210. So yeah, coming into market open for today, we're at our previous day highs. We're at our previous all-time highs here on both the major indices. Coming into today, the game plan, I just want to see longs above our previous day highs for continuation. Similar thing here with Qs. I want to see longs above our previous day highs. SPY, longs are in play above our 754. 754 for continuation higher. Some of the main watches coming into today are going to be some of the semis. AMD above our previous day highs for continuation towards the upside. Nvidia is in play here as well above our previous day highs. Tesla could be a little bit more patient on this one. Some other names that look good. I do like Microsoft, right? Might not set up for a day trade, but a swing trade potentially above our 430 for a push up in towards this full daily gap is in play. This one's been lagging behind quite a bit. Finally have built up higher lows, been consolidating for the past 1 to 2 months. Now what we can be looking for is the break above our 430 hold for continuation higher. So let's keep an eye out on Microsoft today and of course the following weeks. It could very much well reject here. If it does, then we're going to be a little bit more patient. But for Microsoft today, the break above our 430 is going to be key. So we have a couple scenarios to just kind of go over them once more. Break above our 430, continuation towards the upside. We could come back down for that retest of our previous day highs. This is a possible scenario here as well. So above our 432 or the retest of that 430. As for Meta, this one, we need it back above our 637. So Microsoft, AMD, Microsoft, AMD, and Nvidia above our previous day highs looks good coming to market open. Oracle, continuation, Palantir above our previous day highs. MU above our 930 is going to be key. Intel is one of my favorite watches here today as well. So Intel Meta looks solid. If we can break above this kind of daily wedge pattern that I talked about, that's going to be key on Intel. So for Intel, let's keep an eye on longs above our previous day highs. 122.50, maintain above that 122.50, continuation towards the upside. Let's go over a couple more tickers. Nokia, this one's good as well. It's just pulling back. So it's just going to hold these key levels. We can even set a daily higher low off our 14 key psychological level and still be bullish on Nokia for continuation. Yeah, I already went over Dell. Dell game plan key level is going to be that pre-market level, or sorry, that after hours order block for 10 bounce for continuation higher. Yeah, that is going to be it for me today. The overall market still continue to show some strength. Every single dip so far has been bought up, so we're just going to continue to look for longs in the markets until it doesn't work. It is the last day of the trading month. It's also a Friday as well, so be a little bit more patient. Don't try and oversize, of course, on a Friday. It's been a great week. It's been a great month here. So just protect some of the profits coming into the last day of the month. And yeah, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below. And then with that being said, I will have a YouTube video coming out tomorrow for weekly recap going over my month. And then plus I'll have one on Sunday as well. Yeah, besides that, I will see you guys all next week. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.